From me see the face of the ear device, say, Javon, and I'm back with Goonie in another Chelsea reasoning. Before we get started, please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I upload. Listen, there's been a lot of talk. Oh, we will be having a special guest join us today. He's just running a bit late, and we decided to kick it off before he joins. It's been a lot of talk about the last few games. It's been a lot of talk about the Chelsea, and there's a lot of discourse on what we should do in the transfer window, how we go about it from here, going forward. But before we get into all of that, go new Wagwan.
Yeah, man, everything's good. It's good to be back. Another week, another show. You know how much I enjoy coming on here, so big up yourself for allowing me back here on your platform. Obviously, I've got the Mr. Bald Lives Matter trim going on today. You know what I'm saying? So big up all my baldies out there. And big up to everybody that has tuned into this video. Please make sure you smash that like button, you subscribe, and you leave your comments. Yeah? Whether you agree with me, whether you don't agree with me, I am very happy to hear your opinions down there in the comment, and I'm sure Javon is too. So make sure you do that.
Yeah, man, up the legs, people. Now we're gonna take a different approach today, because I think you guys have enough content out there on the negativity in the past couple of games. But we move. Crystal Palace is up next. What are we expecting from that game, Goonie, and the importance of the Crystal Palace game now?
Well, we've not seen 3 wins in a row in the Premier League. That form, it's not overly concerning, but if we don't get 3 points this game, it can become concerning. It can. We still have something to fight for. For me, like I've always maintained, it's not a title race this season. It's a fight for top 4. But I wanted us to have a very strong fight for top 4 to at least finish second. We can still make it happen. We can, but playtime's over. Maresca's tactical experiments over. We got to start getting the points now. If we want to finish in top 4, we got to start getting the points now, because there are teams that are below us that are starting to pick up form. One of them being Newcastle. They are on a deadly form right now, and we can't afford to be looking over our shoulder. We need to start getting points back on the board. Crystal Palace is not going to be easy. Their manager, Oliver Glasner, I don't think he's that bad. I think he's an all right manager, to be fair. Considering that he lost one of the best players in the Premier League last season for a team like Crystal Palace, you know what I mean? It's understandable if their form is kind of up and down, because losing Elise, the way I rate him, any team that would lose someone like Elise.
Oh, look. Yeah. You're good. Go ahead.
Sorry. Anytime any team loses a player like Olise, it's going to affect you, because that's a standard that's very difficult to replace. But nonetheless, you know, they have a blueprint on how they could potentially beat us. We've seen over the past couple games definitely some vulnerabilities. My thing is defense. Midfield now without Lavia, I think, is starting to get breached a little bit more. But that's natural when you don't have a natural DM that's actually playing. That does tend to happen. So it's really down to Maresca, bro. Maresca's got to get the tactics right. He's got to get the personnel right, and he's got to definitely stop and not. I cannot see Disassi on the pitch.
No, man, Cam, even if you tap your fuckery. I normally keep these episodes clean, but even if you stop the fuckery, bro, I can't do it. I can't keep seeing this Assy at right back. Can't keep seeing that lug at right back. But before I give my thoughts, Lewis, welcome back to the channel.
Big up, guys. Sorry it took so long. Laptop tax and everything. I had to restart the thing. But big up, everyone. Bro. Happy New Year. All of that.
Yes,
Hope everything's good.
All good, bro. I was just saying we're kind of having a conversation. Kind of a Crystal Palace preview, if you must, before we get into the other stuff. And what are your thoughts on this game being more important than it should have, realistically, based on the points drop in the last 3 games? Because I think going now, it's a must win. Must times 3, you know?
Yeah, like, we're just in the same position we were for the last 2 games. Like, if we really want to try and minimize it, but we can't. We're now in a position where, like we said a few days ago, the honeymoon period is over, and we really need to just go back to getting the results that we were getting over the last couple of weeks. Now, it does seem like there's a little bit of a problem with us in low blocks, but we've also shown that we've been able to manage against that sort of game plan before. It's just, it seemed to fade away over the last few weeks. I want to try and say it comes down to like maybe lack of rotation over the last couple games, and like we've seen the midfield and we've seen the lack of options with Lavia being out injured and the lack of faith in Cassidy and in Dewsbury Hall, and maybe that's playing a part in it. But it's really going to come to fruition in the next couple of weeks, because we face, I think, bar Bournemouth, we're probably going to be facing defensive systems all the way up until we face Man City. So if we can't handle it, then this is just going to be something that we keep facing more of, and more teams will come with just a sole mindset of defending and being willing to take a point, because they'll just be expecting a mistake from us. So in terms of Palace, like, I still don't feel too concerned about it, if I want to be completely honest, just because I look at Palace on paper, I look at our squad, and I still think we should be going there and getting a result. And I still think if we don't get a result, it will be partly down to our stupidness, as opposed to Crystal Palace being the better outfit on the day. Mm-hmm. So there's still a big sense of optimism for this. It's just 3 games without a win. Now suddenly we look like we're in the bit of a rut, and we're also within a period where it's either a blip or it's something very concerning that we have to look at.
Yeah, so, and that's the point I wanted to pick up on.
Game.
Yep, that's the point I wanted to pick up on and kind of underline, because I'm not saying this, oh, we're in a crisis mode. I'm just saying you don't want to lose for it to not be a blip, because I think we all expected us to have a blip because we're overperforming expectations this season.
Right? It just shouldn't have been in this run.
It was gonna come. Like, yeah, it shouldn't have been in this run.
If this was October, November international break, when you got Liverpool, Newcastle, United, and Arsenal and all of that, we'd be like, okay, like it's a tough run of fixtures. Maybe we get a bit more. Everton, Fulham, and Ipswich. It's like, really? This?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now?
Exactly. So that's why I want to expound upon this. And Goni, what do you think we should do, or what do you think we should do to prevent going on a downward spiral? Because again, I'm not trying to cause panic in the fan base. I'm just saying, if we want to keep the standards high for the rest of the season, these are the make or break games. You think, okay, you're clearly better than the rest. It was just a blip.
For me, again, I keep coming down to this point. Concentration. Because I'm still a strong believer that the majority of the goals that we concede is a lack of focus, a lack of concentration. And as well, another thing, if you want to ensure us that we win games, up top, we need to be more clinical. I need more than Cole Palmer to be a clinical finisher. I need Jackson to take his chances now, because recently he's missing more chances than that he should be scoring. And that needs to stop. And I'm not going to get onto him too much, because I've seen good things from him, and I've seen him with impressive finishes so far this season. So I'm going to be fair. Just whatever it is that you got going on, Jackson, sort it out and get back to your best. Very simple. And Jadon Sancho, if you're going to be playing games, for the love of God, shoot. When you are so good at making openings for yourself in such small spaces, but yet you don't pull the trigger, my bro. When you pulled the trigger against Tottenham, you saw what happened. That was not an easy goal to score. Even down to the technique of how you struck that ball was majestic. It was a beautiful strike. Like, if you know what you're looking at, you'll understand the techers behind that was 10 out of 10. Need to see more. That tells me that you not only can you shoot, is that you have a variety of different shots, which means you can shoot better than a lot of these wingers that we've got in our squad. So there's no excuses for that. That midfield, where my concern is, not having Lavia, like I said, Caicedo having to do a lot of run around, Enzo going between the 10 and going back into the 8 position. That's something that has concerned me in the past, and it's had us bypass several times before. So with that, if Cucurella's going to be the one to invert, he's got a hell of a job on his hands. He's got a hell of a job in his hands. That left side has to be covered. It has to be covered. Otherwise, we're going to be run ragged. Because remember what Delap did the other day? They've got who's the Mateta, who
Yeah,
is
man,
also
Mateta.
who's also big and strong and can score goals. You know what
And
I'm
that's it.
saying?
Another thing, Sar. I think it's Ismail Sar.
Ismail Assar is on form,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's on form, bro. So he's gonna be a fit. I
He's on
think,
the left wing as well. We cannot. This is what I'm saying. We can't let Disasi even
yeah,
touch the
yeah,
pitch.
man. This
Can't.
is the man enough for out there, bro. The man enough. Listen,
We shouldn't be thinking about the Sassy for this because I swear, if I even see him on the bench, I'm going to be annoyed. That
bro,
brother's going
fight.
to get dropped from the whole squad after that game.
If
But
he
Yeah, man,
one
him
if he
need
thing,
a
starts, I
timeout.
might just start saying Maresca needs to go. If he starts him, it will be the beginning of me saying this manager needs to go. So I hope it doesn't. I hope it
yeah, you
doesn't.
know
No,
what? Like, people have been asking me to run a crimes list. I'll be like, that would be the first point.
scrap. Yeah,
That would
man.
be the
Yeah, man.
first point.
Crimes. Yeah,
This
man.
Sassy right back again.
Building the,
Fine.
he's building the book. He's building the book that he had for Patch last season.
I will say like that there's like it's literally 2 points. I
Yeah.
think it's just that and like something to do with substitute. No, Palmer on the left. That's
Left
another
half
one.
space.
Get him away from the left because on the first half he was creating about 3 or 4 good chances, and then in the second half we moved him to the left. I didn't see
So,
him all game.
so here's the
Why
thing.
do we keep persisting with it now? I don't understand it.
Gooni and I had a conversation about this on one of our previous episodes. I don't think it's solely down to Maresca on that one, because if you look how he operates, Gooni said this, he tends to drift, and then Enzo's like, oh, okay, you're the main guy, I'm going to go to the other side. Gooni said he thinks that Palmer just has to learn how to respect other spaces. I think that's what he said.
Yeah. He needs to know when to occupy a particular space because I was saying before, a player like Cole Palmer should be allowed that freedom. Why? Because he's been tried and tested and he's proven himself. Do you know what I mean? And he's effective. His IQ is higher than most. So I understand. But again, with his age, he needs to understand when and when not to occupy certain positions. You know, like primarily in his head, he should be thinking, whenever I can get into a position that highlights my strengths, that's when I should be there as often as possible. If not, if somebody else is taking up that space from a counter attack or whatever, then I'll drift or whatever. Or
So you
if I'm
think it
getting
was
doubled up on the wing, then I might switch to the middle with Felix, Andrew, whoever's in that middle. I'll switch with him and I'll go there just to throw off the markers in the defense and things of that nature. Because that's the thing with the Maverick kind of player is that you want to create space and you want to create opportunities for that player, which is why you allow them to roam so they can attack from different places and also assist the other attackers. But what comes with that is you must learn how to respect your teammates' space.
Facts.
You
Facts.
have to.
I hear that, but I don't know if that was if that was his own decision or managerial instructions. Because first half he was constantly taking up spots in the right pocket. Second half he's constantly taking up spots in the left pocket.
But
That
that
sounds to
says to
me
me,
like it's more of a managerial instruction, like he's been
Could
asked to
be.
move to that space
really, really, you know,
because he wasn't roaming between both sides on the first half. He
Was it
was
really? Yeah.
constantly picking up
yeah,
the ball on the right,
but
and the
but that's
second
the
half he
thing.
just left.
But that's the thing. I think it's a player thing because what I noticed that after Gooni said it, that's when I started to pay more key attention to detail to that. In the second, you're completely right, Lewis. But I realized he started doing that after they started to pick him up in that right half space. Because remember, normally when he's in that right half space and he's operating optimally, the right back steps up with him. The right back
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
offers that extra support. Disasi wasn't giving him that. So I think that affected his game, and that's why I went over to the left-hand side, where he's got Kukurea, Sancho, to operate that's going to retain the ball more and find him more. And
I
he's
still
going to have
think
to
that
do
might
much
have
of
been
the
an
work.
idea from the coach.
It could be
Solely
both. It
because,
could even
like,
be
Yeah.
both.
Could be.
maybe it's a both thing, but I can even understand the sentiment behind it because Noni's having an awful game and Disasi ain't providing any support. I understand that. It's
Mhm.
just like he was also our only thing we were getting from the right hand side too. So
Yeah,
when
so
he
he
gets
should still
moved to
be
the
over
left,
there.
we're dead. We're dead to
Mhm.
rights on the right hand side. He was our
Yeah.
only like heartbeat there.
But and that's it, and that's the thing I agree with as well, Louis. Like, not because it's not working on that side necessarily for the other two. Maybe you're the spark to kind of get them to kind of get them going. Because at this point, I kind of don't want to see Enzo out of the left half space. I think he cooks when he's in the left half space. And,
Yep.
and I think he helps the chemistry between him, Kukorea, and Jadon Sancho. I don't want to touch that, if I'm being honest. So it's one of those difficult things that we have to get nailed down. I genuinely think the issues on the right half space comes from whoever playing that right back position. I think I think it has a knock-on effect going forward. But
We got a
if I'm
really
being
big right back problem, so I hear it.
Yeah.
yeah, anyone interested in seeing that Joshua Chempong?
At this
Over,
point,
yeah, 100%.
it
100%.
can't be worse. Like, even Gusto ain't good enough to warrant a start right now. So
Mm-hmm.
why not? Like, this is the plan that you wanted and the plan that you signed the contract for. Here you go. Go start and show us why there was a big talk about giving you a new contract this year.
Mm-hmm. Why so much major clubs were interested in him? And
Yeah.
listen. Like I've been saying, we need 3 points from this game, simply because we cannot slip into a downward spiral. We need it to just be, you know what, this was our difficult period that we expected. Let's revert back to winning type and let's kick on. Next topic I have for discussion. What do we do in the January transfer window regarding the midfield? Because realistically, Enzo and Cook and Caicedo are the two only durable ones we have.
I'm bringing Santos back. At this point, I've been thinking about it for a few weeks, and I've gone from just, it would kill us, our relationship with Strasbourg. So you know what? I don't care. Just bring him back. I don't care. Chelsea first. I want my midfield depth. You ain't gonna get better midfield depth than Santos. So here we are. Conference League Santos. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it gives him European experience.
I'm
A
slightly
little
opposed.
medal at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm opposed to that. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't think, just purely from the development perspective, Santos is now gonna have to be integrated into the team, which means you're not going to see him start many games immediately. And why are you going to take him away from somewhere where not only is he performing well, he's actually establishing himself as one of the leaders over there. You know what I'm saying? And he's showing what he can do. It's a very, trust me, like, it's not a bad thing to have him in the squad, certainly. But when I look at development and what I think long term with this guy, I think he needs to stay where he is. I do.
So let me pose this question then. What's the difference between that and signing someone in the midfield on a transfer? It's the same thing.
Well, if you're going out to spend money on somebody, I don't think there's anybody available that is worth buying right now in January. Andre Santos is
But that
our asset, though. That's the thing. He's ours.
Yeah, and that's the dilemma we're facing, because Enzo and Caicedo cannot go the entirety
The
of the rest
entire
of the season
season, yeah.
between their two, right? And the reason why I'm not bringing Lavia into this, because injury.
Can't rely
I
on
don't want to rely on injury prone players. Yes, there's quality there, but he's in the same tier as Reece James and Wesley Fofana, right? I'm honestly, in my opinion, I'm bringing back both Okuchuku and Andre
Ugo, yeah,
Santos,
because
and
Ugo,
I'm binning Dewsbury Hall and Chukwemeka.
yeah.
Leslie's a good shout as well, to be honest. We just need another midfield option, one that Maresca can trust, because you don't trust Castell, you don't trust Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, it's very interesting because over the last 3 games, we can see where they just look leggy, especially at the 60th, 75th minute. They just look burnt out. And at what point do we take accountability to say, all right, it's on Maresca, yes, for not making subs, but can you really rely on the subs? Like, what's going on here?
Well,
I
So,
mean, the right back
it's
subs, yeah, there was like 3 of them. But in terms of midfield ones, it was
midfield,
just,
strictly focusing on midfield. I'm not excusing all that crap. I'm just talking about midfield.
Vega's been like iffy. He's had an iffy start to the season. Dewsbury Hall, no. Cassaday, just don't see him bar Conference League games. I have no idea of what to get from him with that one. But yeah, those are our midfield options. And it's just hoping and praying Lavia's back.
You see what I mean when I say, yo, we should probably bring back those two.
Yeah, you know
Yes,
what? When you put
I
it
feel like I'm just
that
getting
way,
selfish now.
no,
Just bring them back.
when you man put it that way, it does actually make more sense to bring him back purely because of lack of personnel and lack of quality
yeah.
outside of our first team. To be honest with
And here, and here's the thing on the integration point: we're not bringing him back and then throwing him to start games immediately. No, you'll have your Enzo Caicedo which starts game, and then you start giving him minutes. At the 78th minute, you make a sub, bringing him on, and then you start to integrate him slowly.
you,
He'll have conference
I'm
league
gonna tell
games to
you,
get up to
I'm gonna
speed.
tell you guys right now, and it's gonna be controversial. I think when we see a healthy handful of game, well, a healthy amount of games of Andre Santos, you're gonna eventually see he's gonna be more effective than Enzo in that midfield. I'm telling you.
Bro, can I say that right? At inverted right back. I'm here for it. What are we
I'm,
talking
I'm,
about? There's
I'm,
always a
I'm
solution.
telling you, I highly, highly, highly rate this kid. I do. And his mentality is something for me that I've been crying out for in this team for so long. Because the way he led that youth Brazilian squad to I believe it was the Copas or one of them trophies, one of them major international.
Probably the Olympics, maybe.
So I mean, one of them. But like for me, what stood out was his leadership, and he actually stood up and made himself counted in games. He was scoring goals, important goals during the tournament throughout, and you could see like the entire team respected him. We need somebody like that in the squad. That is a natural leader, 100%. This is
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons why I want him to kind of like do what's best for him, which is play football. I'm so like emphasizing that because I know he can become a top level player. But duty calls, innit? Like when you look at our squad, we got to be selfish and we got to think, well, lack of quality outside of Enzo and Caicedo, Lavia's never fit. We're going to need you back home, son. So one of them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I understand. I understand and I get it. I think everyone's talking about Esteval William, this, Esteval William, that. My money's on. I'm not saying money. My eyes and my expectations is solely on Andre Santos. Now, transfer window's open. Transfer market is open. What do we do about the Nkunku striker situation?
Honestly, like, I don't think anything does get done with that one.
I told you, Javon,
I
what
really
needs
think
to
it
happen.
just stays the way it is. Sorry.
Remember last time we spoke about this? I said to
Yep.
you, bro, mentally to me, it looks like he's checked out. He's
Man gone, brother.
yeah, he's not there no more, which is a shame. And if that's the case, he should not be seeing minutes. And for me, in that last game, I don't know about you two, but I felt what I was seeing was kind of accurate. Like there was barely much movement up top. Although I'll say this, there was a couple times where he found himself in great open space where he could have capitalized, but João Felix just didn't, for whatever reason, want to pick him up. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, still
You feel it.
he didn't do anywhere near enough to influence the game up top. Absolutely nowhere near enough. So for me, there's no use for him because people say, "Oh well, he's a 10, he's this, he's that." It's not working anywhere he's playing. And if
I will say though, like that's one thing we also need to give as well. Like he only ever starts when we're in the rotation games with João Felix, and I think playing him with Felix as the creator is never going to work
nah,
because Felix is too selfish for that. So it's got to be him with someone else.
Okay.
it
I
just
honestly think you think he needs to be dropped.
bro, get rid of him in January.
God. Okay. Well, that sparks a transition then. What do we do regarding the Colin Moani links? Because I think PSG might come in for Nkunku. You know, maybe not in January,
Yeah,
but maybe in the summer they might come in for Nkunku.
avoid,
Stay away.
avoid,
Stay away from.
avoid,
No one
Stay
wants
away.
Moani.
Don't want Moani, bruv. I'll be
I'm good.
furious if we sign this guy. Don't want him.
We're not getting him anyways. His agent's just slutting him around all over the Premier League trying to find a club. That's what it really is. He's linked to Tottenham. He's linked to everyone bar Man City. It's just not going to be us. And I think there was an article that came out yesterday saying that there's no interest from Chelsea in Muani anyway. Ben Jacobs said that a few days ago. Yeah, it was L'Equipe that said that 14 hours ago as well. So that should be the end of those links, thankfully. But no,
Yeah.
didn't want him
I,
anyway. Didn't want him at all.
that's good. Honestly, I bring up the striker topic because I'm tired of seeing that lazy sub. I call it a lazy sub because you, as the coach, said he's not a striker. Yes, they put him in a striker position, and when he comes on, the quality up front slightly diminishes, in my opinion. It does not stay the same, especially just pressing wise. And if you're not going to trust Nkunku, well, if Nkunku is going to give us that, is it better to give Mark Yu a chance? But you don't trust Mark Yu. So, in my opinion, and I'll go to Lewis on this, you have
Hold
to
on,
commit. You have to commit to one thing.
Jay. Do you mind if I take this because I have to go real quick?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Do your thing.
You see, with Mark Guiu, right? As much as I don't think he's ready, I think he's still going to play for the shirt and he's going to give as much effort, 100% for me. And when you're faced in a situation where you've got a very talented player, but who's mentally checked out, but you've got one who's nowhere near as talented, but wants to give 100%, then it makes sense to play the one that is actually going to give an effort. Because at least he's going to try. At least he's going to play for the shirt. At least he's going to show the right mentality for the squad. While the other one is just going to frustrate players, is going to frustrate the fans, and so on and so forth. So there's no point. But on that note, I apologize. I've got to cut this early. This battery is about to cut out too, so I'm going to have to run.
You're good, bro.
Yeah, but it's good talking
Good
with you,
seeing
man.
you, bro. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, bro.
Blessings,
Bless up.
What's up?
Bless up. Yeah, man. So, Lewis, what do you think we do? Because, in my opinion, you have to go one way. You cannot be in this limbo, right? And then you just at this point you're telling me, you know what? He has more experience than you. That's why he's starting. That's what I'm getting from it.
Here's my give him some experience, and then we'll see what level he's at. Like, you know me and how rare I'll ever even give that Satanist from last season even an iota of credit. But
Yeah.
at least I got to see Broya a little bit. And at least we got to a point where we realized, okay, Broya ain't it. He ain't. He's too raw. Like, whatever that injury did to him has just offed him and offed his development. Fine. At least we got there, though. I've seen you have 23 minutes against Man City and nothing else.
Nothing.
I look at
played
least
against
the
City?
Fulham game, and I think he comes on and he gives me more than what Nkunku would have done. Because if you're playing a long ball game, he's got the frame for it. He's probably going to bully Bassi and Anderson a little bit. Whether he has the end product or not, I'll find out. And if he ain't got the end product, I'm not ripping Maresca for it because he's 18, he's 19. Fine. He ain't ready for the Prem. Great, we've got that. Now, if he comes on and he bags the third goal or the second goal or something,
to close
cool.
to give us the win essentially, because the
Then
second
we know
goal would have
he's
killed
an
the game.
option. Then we know he's an option, but we haven't done that. We don't even bother utilizing it. We bring on Nkunku late, who you've told us isn't a striker. So that sends a wrong message to him, and it don't help us. So
Exactly.
I don't get what the idea is.
Bro, I'm yet to see a situation where you comes on as a striker, and if you're making subs, you either push Palmer to the right or pull Palmer off, Nkunku in the 10 and Felix off the
Because he
left.
don't ever come off the bench. He never does.
Bro, it's honestly frustrating, and that also feeds into the situation, and the biggest problem I have with Maresca now is what happened to your in-game management. You made me trust you because of you made good in-game management. Is it because the transfer window's open and you're trying to say to the board, hey, I need a couple players here. I don't trust these people. What is it? What could it be?
It might be an indirect to the board with that. I could look at that idea, but part of me also thinks it might just be Maresca in general, because I remember Leicester fans talking about him being stubborn, and I haven't really seen that from a tactical perspective, because there's been moments where his game management's been really good. There's been times where he's tweaked the lineup and our setup to deal with certain teams. So I think he's very flexible in that regard. With the subs, though, now I start to see the stubbornness that was spoken about. As we speak about the quality of the squad, the quality of depth, we don't utilize it enough. The subs are always late. You might see the odd half-time sub, but the majority of the time they're late. Now, I know it was relatively earlier than what we usually get from him in the last game. Still late, because ultimately Disasi was on the pitch for about 75 minutes.
Bro, I
25
can't even.
minutes too late. We could have isolated. We could have taken Noni off, one off Felix, or Nkunku could have come off at halftime as well. There was no halftime sub. There was two subs around 55 minutes, and by that point, we've already conceded the second, and the game's done. Now, I'll give you credit for it being earlier. Still too late.
I can't even give you credit for it being earlier because the sub was incorrect. And hear me out for a minute. If the goal, the penalty, while it was a dive, all of that play generated down the Sassy side, and we could clearly see that they're targeting the Sassy, right?
Yeah.
You're telling me, even if you wanted to give these people like 15 extra 15 minutes in the second half, the attackers, you could argue, you know what, you could get another 15 minutes because it's against Ipswich defense. But if Ipswich, who's second from the bottom, is targeting our right back, who's not a right back, don't you think that should have been the sub at halftime?
Yeah.
And then give the attackers 10 minutes?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like three right backs you brought, and it was only the out of form one we brought on at the 77th minute. Now, ultimately, all this talk about getting Achimpong the contract, and we're not utilizing him. Like, what is the damn point? We didn't just sign him for Conference League minutes. Give him some minutes. I've seen him come off the bench against teams like Spurs and make the most chances in the game in 15 minutes. I've seen him from the Conference League. He looks composed. Now, I know it's only the Conference League, but I mean, Gusto don't look composed. Disasi don't look composed. Give him some minutes. And it's the same thing as Broja. If he don't look good enough, fine. He's 18. But I'm not going to knock you for trying it. What I am going to knock you for is constantly seeing Disasi die on the right-hand side. Or Gusto, even I'm not going to knock you for that, but I mean, come on, you've got two other options on the bench. You're going to go for the out of form brother that we had to have Pedro Neto hold his hand against in the Fulham game. What's the point?
Exactly, bro. And the thing is, just with Josh Achempong, he's been training to play this role. It's not like we're bringing him on to play CDM or to play an attacking midfielder. No, this role is geared and tailored towards him. I keep saying you can have the starting 11 wrong, bro, but it's your in-game management. It's that really tells what's going on. And honestly, at this point, it is frustrating. But again, we need to win this game. And let's look at the games that are supposed to come. Because I think after Crystal Palace, we have Markham in the League Cup.
Is it Morecambe before Bournemouth? Let me double check.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. No.
So yeah, it is Morecambe. It is Morecambe.
Right. This is a chance to go on another winning streak. Because let's say we get the dub against Crystal Palace on Saturday. Next Saturday would be the FA Cup against Morecambe. 2 games. I'm expecting 2 wins. After that, we have Bournemouth at home, which is not as difficult as Bournemouth away. Wolves at home, which is not as difficult as it is to play away, and then we have Manchester City. Do you think we could go on a 5-game winning streak?
What, including the City game?
Yeah, City makes it 5.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, City are still going to be the biggest test a lot, but this is the best time for us to face Manchester City. All just depends on, like, if they strengthen before they get to facing us. But I'm trying to look at the Bournemouth game first. Iraola is not a coach to be messed with, and neither is Bournemouth as a squad. We should be beating them still. We should be beating Wolves still. But Iraola is capable of doing a job on Maresca. So we got to earmark that game first. If we can get through that one, and obviously just the Palace game that we have coming up, then we're back to where we should be. But there's no reason for us not to be going back on the winning streak. This is the better run of games for us. Now, I know people are going to say this is why you don't underestimate fixtures and all of that. I can hear that to a point. But I mean, as the fans looking at the fixture list, you are going to look at the run of fixtures that we've had in the Christmas period and be like, should all be wins. Whether you underestimate them or not, you should be winning these games.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, that's our L that we have to hold. Because
Sir.
what the hell? Ipswich, Fulham, and Everton. This is the bad patch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. Two of those teams we beat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, I mean, Ipswich is their relegation fodder. We should be beating them, but
We should be
here we
beating
are.
them. Yeah, bro, and that's the thing, because barring the City game, barring the City and the Palace game, those 3 games in the middle are all at home. Call me naive, call me delusional, but I think any game we play at home should be a win. Should be a dub. We're not playing Liverpool. We're not. The biggest test is, for me, it's Manchester City, because we go to the Etihad, and even in the past when City has had bad run of forms, we still find a way to lose, and we become charity FC. So I'm not trying to see that. I want my slice of the cake. Everybody's beating City left, right, and center.
Mm-hmm.
I want that too. I didn't get that against Manchester United. We deserve that against Manchester City. And listen, it's just one of those things. But I am going to wrap the show here. This has been another episode of the Chelsea Reasoning. Thank you for joining us, Lewis. Please let the people
Big
know
up,
they
man.
can find
Sorry
you.
I was late and everything. Laptop had to go for a restart, which is just typical. But yeah, great to be back on. Always appreciate it.
No problem. Please let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, Carefree Lewis G on all socials, Chelsea Fan TV as well. And yeah, big up everyone. Happy New Year to everybody celebrating, and big up.
Happy New Year. I'm sure I will be hopping on your watch along
Oh
to
yeah, we
argue with
back
a few
live.
people. We back live. Yeah, people. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'm gonna call it there. Happy New Year, people. Peace.